Dr. Phil and everybody else in my English class. I'm going to do my Rhetorical Analysis 2 in video format because I'm going to be analyzing Meg Turney's profile. She is a video host for the YouTube channel SourceFed, which also has a website. They do 5 news stories a day, usually in a humorous format, and then there's an offshoot channel called SourceFed Nerd that has some other hosts that Meg Turney also does stuff for. But apart from SourceFed, Meg Turney also has her own personal kind of channel where she does Ask Meg or Dear Meg segments once a week-ish. They're all traditional vlog format like what I'm doing right now. She usually sits in front of a bookshelf, she's usually wearing a nerdy t-shirt, she always has her glasses on and her hair down or something. In those Ask Meg things, she'll talk about many things, including but not limited to her love of Japanese culture. She took a trip to Japan in the last few years, and she did several videos about that. And she also does cosplay, where she dresses up like various characters from anime or manga or video games, and goes to conventions and kind of acts as that character would. Her cosplay is awesome. She does the wigs, she does the makeup, and to put it perfectly bluntly, she's really hot. Like, she could be a model. She is a model. But she doesn't talk too much about her cosplay on her personal channel. She's done a few SourceFed videos where she was in costume, like one when there was a release of a new Assassin's Creed game. She wore an Assassin's Creed costume that had a little bit of a cleavage showing, and she got some flack for that. She responded to that to the comments on her SourceFed video and her personal video. And she talked about how she felt like her costume was an expression of what she wanted to do, and she was allowed to use her body however she wanted, which I can totally sympathize with. Meg Turney also talks very openly about her bisexuality and answers many questions from fans about that, and debunks a lot of myths about what people might perceive about bisexuality, and she kind of recounts some of her own personal experience, and kind of in conjunction with her videos about her bisexuality and answering questions about that, she answers fan questions about dating life and like when you should say I love you, when to break up. And she doesn't really claim to really know much of anything. She can only talk from her experience, which is something a normal balanced person would do. Balanced and reasonable seem to be good words for Meg Turney. She is very into geek culture being video games and anime and Japanese culture. And I'm not really doing a channel review for Meg Turney. I'm supposed to be doing a rhetorical analysis. So I'll look at some of the rhetorical devices that she uses on SourceFed and on her own channel, which is titled Meg Turney. On SourceFed, the videos are all scripted, they're formatted in certain ways. A SourceFed news video, you have 2 hosts standing next to each other, usually on boxes, so their heads are at the same height relative to the camera, and with a white background, and they will deliver their segments and talk to each other, and sometimes there'll be shots of both of them, sometimes there'll be shots of one person, and then they'll go back and forth. And it's all very complicated editing, and sometimes there are effects, there are annotation bars that people point to, and like say link here, and I wouldn't be able to do that on my own, but they have professional editors over at SourceFed, as well as professional camera people and professional writers. Meg Turney does some of the writing for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd as well, but her personal channel is much more like what I'm doing right now. It's just her and her cell phone. She's talking to it. So it's much more personal and relaxed and conversational. But in both formats, Meg Turney looks directly at the camera. I haven't been looking directly at the camera because I've been looking at my notes and trying to make sure I stay in frame. So I'm not doing a very good Meg Turney impression in this video. I apologize. Anyway, she looks directly at the camera to kind of talk to the viewer as a friend or as someone she's trying to convey information to, and she wants them to listen to her and to understand. And just as in interpersonal contact, when you're meeting face to face in real life, in real time, not like a video, eye contact is very important for making sure the person you're talking to is paying attention and really listening to you. It's a little difficult to do this with a camera, as I'm finding out right now. It's just this little dot that doesn't seem to care about me and is staring into my soul. The more I do this, the more I'm impressed by how maintaining this contact with a viewer you can't see, you can't hear, you can't really respond to them in real time is still important. But Meg Turney does a very good job of that. All of her videos are very professionally done, even the ones that are like her touring her apartment with her dog and showing you around. It's just like it's very engaging. It makes me want to listen, even though most of the stuff she's talking about in her personal videos is pretty mundane. Some of it I know already, some of it I could hear from my friends that I have around the corner, but having a friend on the internet is very interesting for several reasons. First, you can build up different kinds of identities, like she has her cosplay professionalism, her source-fed professionalism, and then her kind of more personal brand of professionalism in her video blogs. But all of these are Meg Turney. She does get some negative feedback, as anyone who puts himself on the internet does. And she responds to this in a very mature, respectful manner, saying things like, I understand that you don't like what I'm saying. I understand you might not like me as a person, but you still need to respect me as a person. Now, going back to the questions from the first rhetorical analysis as kind of a guide, is the profile effective? Yes. It showcases Meg Turney as an internet personality in both professional and casual manners. We have the professional with source-fed and her delivering news stories, and we have the personal, casual with her vlogs and some of the other source-fed content that's a little more fun than the news, even though the way they do the news is extremely entertaining. I think the best thing about Meg Turney's online profiles is the transparency of them. Where she's being professional, she's being very professional, but she still is herself. She has 100,000 subscribers on her personal channel, and then SourceFed, how many subscribers does SourceFed have? SourceFed Nerd has over 580,000 subscribers. SourceFed has over 1 million subscribers. So yes, that's a lot of people watching Meg Turney's lovely face every day. Overall, I think showing the different ways in which one person using their face and their upper torso, as you usually see in a vlog, can show different parts of the personality and still be the same person. That's very impressive. Having her do professional videos and having her do vlogs shows the different aspects of the person like I'm talking about. So rhetorically, Meg Turney seems to be about showing how different parts of one person are still part of one person. And I think that's very interesting to talk about in terms of what we've been learning in the class, where you have someone's real identity and their online identity, and which one is more real than the other one, and whether any of them are real. Thanks, Baudrillard. That's my main point. Meg Turney uses her YouTube channel to showcase herself in different ways for her own fun and for the entertainment of others. So thanks, Dr. Phil. I will see you in cyberspace some other time. Thanks. Bye.